Thank you again. I am Dr. John Smith, Vice President for Student Affairs and Acting President of the University of South Alabama. We will begin our program this evening with a special Herald Trumpet fanfare composed in honor of USA's 50th anniversary and President Gordon Moulton and Jerry Moulton. It was written by Dr. Greg Gruner, USA Chair of Music. After the fanfare, please rise for our national anthem performed by the Jaguar Marching Band and Dr. Thomas Rao of the USA Department of Music.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Dr. Gruner. Quite a performance. Thank you again for coming out for this historic evening. Tonight's celebration is twofold. First, we are commemorating our university's first 50 years of service to the people of the Mobile region, the nation, and the world. Second, we are honoring the contributions of President Gordon Moulton and his wife, Jerry, who have served the University of South Alabama for almost 50 years. This evening, we will hear from people who helped create the university 50 years ago today, May 3rd, 1963. We will also hear from local, state, and national leaders, faculty, students, alumni, friends, and supporters. All of these people share a common pride in the University of South Alabama. Before we hear from our speakers, we would like to make some important introductions. Would you please stand when I recognize you, and please hold your applause until all groups are recognized. Would current and past members of the USA Board of Trustees please stand? Thank you. Please be seated. Would all of our current and past elected officials of the local, state, and federal level please stand? Thank you. Would current and past members of the board of the USA Foundation please stand? Thank you. If you have ever served on the faculty or staff at USA, please stand. Should be a lot of you. Thank you. If you have ever served as an officer of the USA National Alumni Association, please stand. Thank you. Another big group, if you've ever made a gift to the university, if you have donated resources or time to the institution, please stand. Thank you. It's not in my script, but folks, that is what makes us who we are as a university. We could not have done it without you. Thank you. Can we have a round of applause for all of these people? At this time, there's some additional people we would like to honor. Would you please stand when I recognize you? And audience, if you'd please hold your applause until we introduce all of the groups. First, a very important group. If you graduated from USA in the 1960s, please stand. 1960s. Thank you. If you graduated from USA in the 1970s, please stand. It's hard not to clap, I understand. It's an important group. If you graduated from USA in the 1980s, please stand. Thank you. If you graduated from USA in the 1990s, please stand. If you graduated from USA since the year 2000, please stand. Thank you. And last but not least, if you are a current student at USA, please stand. Current students. Thank all of you. It's hard to imagine Mobile without a University of South Alabama. Our first speaker was here before there was a USA. In fact, he was one of the legislators who helped create this university. 50 years ago today, May 3rd, 1963, he was among those who signed the legislative act founding the University of South Alabama. I am pleased to present former State Representative Robert Eddington. Mr. Eddington.
Governor, Mr. President Moulton, Mrs. Moulton, trustees, faculty, and distinguished guests. All guests here tonight are distinguished. It's a great honor for me to have the privilege of participating in this special occasion honoring President Gordon Moulton and the 50th anniversary of the founding of this great institution. Also, it was a great honor for me to have had the pleasure and to participate in the drafting and passage of the legislation that created the University of South Alabama 50 years ago today. And I must mention especially former Senator John Tyson, if he'll please just stand and be recognized. He was in the legislative He was in the legislative delegation at that time, as was Casey Downing, whose family is here tonight. Would you stand to be recognized, please? At the time that we were discussing creation of this great institution, we had full support of the city, the Chamber of Commerce, and Governor George Wallace, without whose support, of course, the bill could not have passed. President Gordon Moulton's service to South has moved it ahead in every way, especially in pursuing academic excellence. Enrollment has increased and some 17,000 degrees have been awarded since the founding of South. Dr. Fred Whidden was the first president. He succeeded emphasizing high academic standards and getting grants for buildings, because when this university started, it only had one building, which wasn't very adequate. When Dr. Whidden retired, the trustees wisely selected Gordon Moulton, and he rose to the occasion. He has guided South as an integral, since then, and it's become an integral part of the city of Mobile. This great Mitchell Center has made possible many major city events. Mr. Gordon Moulton's relationship with the students is legendary. He's even been known to come out on opening day and help kids move into the dorms. Not many presidents have done that. When Dr. Whidden retired, Gordon Moulton was the perfect person to succeed him. He has strengthened town and gown relationships, built a great number of academic buildings, and maintained his great relationship with his students. Personally, I don't know how he's managed to do all of this, but he hadn't done it alone. His wonderful wife, Jerry Moulton, has backed him all the way and carried him through in this operation. So honoring Gordon Moulton tonight, we're also honoring his wife, Jerry, for her support and guidance. And again, thank all of you for the privilege of being able to participate in this wonderful 50th anniversary celebration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eddington. I now present USA's very first Student Government Association President, Rick Nelson, of the class of 1967. Mr. Nelson.
Please excuse I'm not as young as I thought I was, recuperating from a broken leg. So I can truly say that I am one of the few people who was directly helped by people like Mr. Tyson and where's the representative? There it is, Mr. Eddington. Let me give you some background on why I say they were directly helping me. I started my college career at the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, but like other college students, I was able to finish 3 semesters, basically ran out of funds, so the only alternative was to return back to Mobile, find a job, because I knew I wanted to go and finish my education, so that was going to require me basically to do a lot of saving. Little did I know, though, that men such as Mr. Tyson, Mr. Eddington, had already decided that, this South Alabama needed to have an institution of higher learning. And they had already taken steps to make sure that the University of South Alabama would become a reality. A year later, I took had an important moment of my lifetime when I became a student of the first class at the University of South Alabama, a few days ago, obviously. You talk about an educational experience, that was definitely that. The move that I made by joining that particular class, it changed my life, and it created innumerable opportunities for me in the future. To be on the ground floor, to kind of see the university grow to what it's become today through Gordon, it was awesome, just flat awesome. It seemed like in those days that something was happening at South every day. There were new buildings, new faculties, new programs. It was all the time. It was exciting. It made you kind of want to become involved. And the need for that involvement kind of pushed me into running for the president of student government. And I was lucky enough to be elected. I will say at that particular time, my learning experiences grew exponentially from that point forward. We had one big advantage in those days. We were the first. We really couldn't do any wrong when you think about it, because we were the first. Whether it came to writing the Constitution, the bylaws for the Student Government Association, establishing school colors, school mascots. We did a lot as far as some educational programs, shall we say. We put that in quotes. And we also established a lot of social programs for our fellow students to give them an opportunity to get to know everyone else, outside the classroom. As I said, everything was new, brand new. I would like to point out one thing. The faculty and staff in those days were outstanding. Outstanding. When you go to an institution of higher learning, you have a tendency to become a number. I mean, that's it. You're known by your number. Not at South Alabama. When they first started this institution, the faculty and staff, they seemed like they made a concerted effort to get to know our names, to know a little bit about us. You know, they had a genuine interest in our success. And I want to give you an example of how that helped me out immensely. I was having problems with a chemistry course. Well, I had problems with a lot of courses, come to think about it. But that one in particular. And I remember the professor saying, if you need me or you need any help, give me a call. So I said, well, why not? I might as well try it. I called him on a Saturday afternoon at his home and went through, you know, thinking he would help me over the phone and that kind of thing. And I was explaining what I, having problems with. And he said, well, what are you doing? And I thought, well, I'll make some points here. Well, I'm studying for your exam, I guess I was. But anyway, he said, well, if you can meet me at the university in a half an hour, I can go over that with you. And I said, well, it really wouldn't be necessary. You don't have to. He said, no, I'll meet you there. I had no idea he would be there. But when I went, he was there waiting on me in the chemistry lab. He spent not only a couple of hours going over what I was having problems with, but he asked me enough questions about some of the material that we were going to be tested on as far as later on in exams. He spent until about 6 o'clock that evening with me. And think about it. He's a faculty member that, he knew me as a student, but that was it. But that's the kind of people we had here. They would go out of their way, to help you. They had a genuine interest in our success. As I close, I would like basically to make a special thank you to President Moulton. Well, are you kidding? There he is. Through his ingenuity and his dedication and his vision, the university has grown to be what it is today. You're a very special man, Gordon, very special. And I hope you and Jerry, And I hope you and Jerry enjoy your retirement to the fullest. Because from what I've seen, you have definitely earned it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Many of USA's early graduates have gone on to serve and give back to the university in many ways. I now present Mr. Jim Yance of the class of 1970, Chair Pro Tem of USA Board of Trustees. Jim.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. I first want to thank all of you for turning out on what could have been a stormy evening to share this momentous occasion and help us celebrate it. And I also thank these distinguished guests, many of whom traveled a great distance. And Rick, who just spoke, was a classmate of mine, and I helped elect him, and he helped elect me to a couple of things that he wished he hadn't elected me to. And then one of my law school classmates, Senator Jeff Sessions, is here, so I know a few famous people now. So I guess I've done pretty well. I only have 3 minutes, and so I wrote some thoughts down, and I'm going to probably pretty much read it, because when I don't, I wind up, dragging it out, as some of the faculty can verify. I want to utilize my time to recognize and remember some outstanding individuals for their invaluable contributions to this institution, some of whom have already been mentioned. USA was born as the vision of a young PhD who was acting as the director of the University of Alabama Center in downtown Mobile back in the early 1960s. That young PhD was Dr. Frederick P. Whidden. And I know it was his vision because I heard him on a number of occasions discuss that with his aunt, a former school teacher who happened to also be my mother. And my mother thought it was a quite ambitious vision that he had, but she was very proud of him later when it came to fruition. Other members of his family are here. His daughter Karen and her husband, if they would stand, please. And any other members of their family. Here we've got more over there. And Karen, I might mention, is a distinguished member of our faculty here and a devoted supporter of this institution in every respect. But Dr. Whidden instilled his vision in some key community leaders here. I remember Ernest Cleverton being one of them, and there were many others that I don't have time to mention. And significantly, he instilled that vision in some key Mobile legislators you've heard mentioned: John Tyson Sr., Robert Eddington, Mylon Ingle, who's no longer with us, and you've already heard the other members of that delegation who were so key, and they are the ones who marshaled the political clout and the votes to literally legally create and pass the legislation that created USA. Dr. Whidden amazingly went on after that vote and after we were created, went on to, as Rick mentioned, to recruit the most amazing faculty you could ever encounter right here at a school that literally had one building when I started, and I still don't know to this day how we were able to get those people to share in a vision and come here. And the staff likewise, and they did know who you were, and they did care. I was visiting with Dr. Bill Williams. We knew him as Aaron back then, and his picture's on page 150 in the book that you'll have be able to get. And I showed my wife Frances his picture, but we were sharing or reminiscing about the geography department back then and how we all knew each other. They were tough as they could be, and if you got a bad grade, they'd somehow make you feel good about it, but I don't know how, but they did. But they treated you as one of them, too, but they were extremely challenging, but a lot of fun, and that's why I stayed here. I was only going to go for 1 year, and I stayed here and got my degree, and I'm so glad I did. I probably wouldn't have graduated if I'd gone to Alabama and tried to play football. But anyway, it was just an amazing place. But, Fred Whidden went on to, or Dr. Fred Whidden went on to fulfill another one of his visions, and that was the creation of the University of South Alabama Medical School, and that was in the face of great opposition at that time and some difficult legislative battles that were waged in Montgomery. He served this community with distinction and then served this university with distinction as president for, I think it was 27 years. And then 15 years ago, that presidential baton was passed to another inspirational and visionary leader who had really been an integral part of this institution from the beginning almost, of just a year after I started in '65, President Gordon Moulton, who was then an aspiring young faculty member and did some administrative duties, arrived with his wife Jerry, who couldn't figure out what she was doing here. But with Gordon, we really, and I knew him then, and I'm proud to say, and I've been friends with him for 47 years. But that presidential baton was passed, and we literally got two for the price of one, because we got Gordon and we got Jerry. And what Jerry and Gordon have meant to and done for this university and its students and staff can never be surpassed. And, time doesn't permit me to even begin to delineate the phenomenal accomplishments and growth that's been achieved under his vision and leadership in not only the campus and the structures here, but the programs and health care and so forth. And I just want to say to Gordon and Jerry, thank you so much for all you've meant to all of us, and to me and Frances. We will be eternally grateful for your friendship and your inspiration.
Thank you, Jim. The true quality of a university is driven by the quality of its faculty. Representing USA's faculty, past, present, and future, are Dr. Phil Carr, Faculty Senate Past President, and Dr. Doug Marshall, Faculty Senate President. Dr. Carr, Dr. Marshall.
Good evening. It's an honor to be here tonight. My first time on the University of South Alabama campus was in the spring of 1999. I was interviewing for a tenure-track position in the Department of Sociology and Anthropology. My official schedule began at noon that day. I drove to the interview so I was able to set my own schedule. I was 2 hours early. I wandered around campus and made opportunities for small talk, and that convinced me USA was the place for me. There's nothing like added pressure for a job interview. Now I've been at the University of South Alabama for nearly 14 years, a short timer compared to many of you here. For me, the Mitchell Center has always stood right here, and I've only known President Moulton as a leader of this university. Despite this short time, I've seen tremendous change and great progress made at USA under the leadership of President Moulton, made all the more impressive given the significant economic challenges over the past 5 years. The transformation of USA campus and hospitals is truly inspiring, and Jerry Moulton, the First Lady of USA, has made sure that this transformation was accomplished with beauty and style. Jerry and Gordon Moulton have truly made a difference. This evening, I have the honor to recognize the outstanding faculty of the University of South Alabama, and in particular, 50 individuals who, spanning 5 decades and 7 academic units, embody what it means to be an outstanding faculty member. As President Moulton has often said, the faculty are the heart of the University of South Alabama. The 50 individuals who we recognize tonight make sure it is a strong and healthy heart indeed. I would ask the 50 outstanding faculty to please rise. These individuals are listed in your program in the beautiful commemorative book that's available this evening. They exemplify what it means to be a faculty member at USA, which is to say they are exceptional teachers, excellent researchers, and dedicated servants. It is truly an honor to be able to recognize this evening and celebrate their hard work and dedication to the mission of the University of South Alabama. Happy anniversary, USA. Thank you.
When I was thinking about this event and what to say to you in the very short amount of time that I'm going to take up your time this evening, it occurred to me that it's probably been pretty close to 8 years to the day since I first saw a job posting of a position at a school that I'd never heard of, in a state that I had no particular tie to, in a city that I had only driven through once on my way somewhere else. To be frank, my first instinct on seeing the ad was to ignore it. I was halfway to tenure at another school that was treating me well. And should I get this new job, I would have to move my wife and my baby boy 700 miles in the course of a short summer. Nevertheless, something, and I'm not sure what, told me to look a little bit further. So I did, and the digging I did online encouraged me. It made it look pretty good, but you know, until you see something firsthand, you really can't be sure. So I was delighted to get a chance to come down and interview. And when I was here, I was eager to check everything out, to investigate. Was it what it looked like? Well, what I was eager to see, or what I was happy to see, was that at every turn, my response was the same thing. Really? You have a great-looking library? You have eager students? You have alligators? You have Middle Eastern restaurants? And most importantly, you have a battleship? Why hadn't I heard of this place before? Well, by the time they dropped me at the airport to go back home, I had pretty much made up my mind, so I got on the phone to try to help my wife make up her mind. Needless to say, we ended up moving to Mobile, working at South, and it must be said, it has proven to be everything we had hoped and more. From that time on, I have told everyone who would sit still long enough to listen that South Alabama is truly a hidden gem of a university. A great school that in today's parlance punches above its weight, that provides a great education, houses wonderful researchers, but for some reason doesn't get the recognition that it should just yet. Unlike most of the speakers this evening, I can't really talk about how South used to be, only as South as I've found it in the last 8 years. But what I can say is that the South that I found here was in large part due to President Moulton. What I can even more strongly say, though, is that the university it has become in that time, and I have to say it has become more than I would have imagined when I arrived just that short time ago, is very much, almost entirely due to President Moulton's work and perseverance and effort and care for this institution. And for that, we all owe him a huge debt of gratitude. And this brings me to my very last task up here. The kinds of people a place attracts tells you a lot about that place. And Dr. Carr has already told you about our 50 outstanding faculty, which, by the way, our entire faculty is outstanding. These are just some representatives to give you a flavor. But something else that tells you about a place is what kind of things get done there. And for that reason, this year, the Office of Research under Lynn Chronister has also decided to award 50 outstanding research projects. That's work that has been done at South. You will find these individuals listed in your program as well as in the book. Unfortunately, we do not have time to name them all as much as I would like to, but I would also ask them to stand and be recognized if you're one of those 50 outstanding research projects. It's my hope and belief that the next 50 years of South will be as good as the first 50. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Dr. Marshall and Dr. Carr. A university's reputation is ultimately defined by the quality of its alumni, represented tonight by USA National Alumni Association President Mark Hoffman. Mark is a former Jaguar baseball player and graduated in 1975. Mark?
It is truly a privilege to come before you tonight representing more than 67,000 alumni as of next week's commencement. When I graduated in 1975, we had just over 5,000. And at that time, when we wanted to go out for a nice meal near campus, we went to Freeze and Snack. But not to worry, during my senior year, they opened Freeze and Snack number 2. South Alabama has had a profound impact on my life, both personally and professionally. I met my wife, Elaine, here. And upon graduation, I enrolled in the Harvard Business School with absolutely no full-time work experience unless you counted Ralph's College bookstore. But no one in my class had been better prepared to compete in a very demanding environment, something for which I've always been grateful. And one of my professors then is the Dean of the Mitchell College of Business now, Dr. Carl Moore. Our campus today is virtually unrecognizable compared to even 10 years ago, and so much of that credit for that goes to the vision and leadership of Gordon Moulton. And let me hasten to add that USA's dynamic growth has not come at the expense of academic excellence. One example of that being ACT scores for entering freshmen, which rose to a record 23 this past year, well above the national average of 21 and the Alabama state average of 20. The National Alumni Association has participated in this growth as well. Established in 1974, over its first 37 years, the association grew to 3,500 members. But in the last 2 years alone, we've added an additional 1,100 members and expect to cross the 5,000 member threshold this coming year. We presently have 13 chapters, coast to coast, Los Angeles to Washington, D.C., to Mobile, Baldwin counties, and we have 4 professional societies, including the School of Computing, College of Engineering, College of Education, and our newest society, the Department of Communication. And our goal going forward is to aggressively strengthen and grow both chapters and societies. I'd now like to shamelessly paraphrase from a famous speech to leave you with the following thought. Ask not what USA can do for you, but what you can do for USA. And there are so many ways you can contribute and be involved. Join the Alumni Association. Participate in university activities and events. Be a goodwill ambassador. Spread the word. We're still a well-kept secret. And one great way to do that is with USA license plates, which provide excellent advertising as well as support for the Alumni Association scholarship programs for incoming freshmen and children of alumni, and provide financial support. In that regard, I would note that in 2010, the university announced a special campaign to solicit 50,000 individual gifts over 3 years in celebration of the university's 50th anniversary. We are very pleased to announce tonight that the 50,000 gift goal has been reached 5 months early. I'd like to thank the 72-member Alumni Leadership Council and the 50-member Business Leadership Circle for their gifts and leadership during this campaign, and each of the individual contributors as well, and many of you are in this audience tonight. When you leave here this evening, why not purchase a bottle of Alumni Association Reserve red, white, or sparkling wine, and when you get home, continue the celebration, raising a toast in honor of Gordon and Jerry and 50 very special years at this university. Thank you, and go Jags.
Thank you, Mark. Representing USA's current students tonight is our SGA president during this 50th year, Parker Chastain. You'll have to forgive Parker if he has a big smile on his face because he is graduating next week, and he is majoring in biomedical sciences. Parker.
Thank you, Dr. Smith, and good evening, everyone. Tonight, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of an amazing institution of higher learning. However, this university is not just a place to learn, but a place to gain an education. For we do not only leave with the information that we gain in the classroom, but we leave with the valuable knowledge only given by the people we come in contact with. I can honestly say that I could have never imagined the college experience that I have had. The reason for this is the fact that we are a community of peers, students, leaders, teachers, administrators, mentors, and people who desire a better tomorrow. We are diverse, driven, and different, and none of this would be possible without the people who are the heart and the soul of this university. The last time that I had the opportunity to speak with you all, I shared with you a quote by Winston Churchill that said, "Endurance, not strength or wisdom, is the key to our potential." As we celebrate this milestone, we prove how true these words are. I'm extremely grateful for the brave men and women who started this university. They set something in motion that would change far more lives than even they could have imagined. They endured the initial trials and tribulations, which served as the catalyst for our success. I additionally want to thank President Moulton and Ms. Jerry. I want to thank you for your many years of service to this institution, but more so, the fact that you have not only seen, but been a vital part of the dramatic changes that we have undergone. As we embark on this new journey, I share this thought with you. Let not your heart be saddened by a day ending, a door closing, or a mistake made. Rather, let your heart beat harder and stronger for all that is possible and unknown. To the students of this university, the alumni, the faculty, and the staff, thank you for setting the pavement for things unseen. For we must never forget those who have changed our lives. And South, we must never lose sight of who comprises our heart and soul. Lastly, to those who we pass the reins, I cannot say for certain what challenges or tribulations you may face, but I can say, good luck and go Jags. Thank you all.
Thank you, thank you, Parker. You've done an outstanding job this year and been a joy to work with. I am now pleased to present Mobile Mayor Sam Jones, who has supported USA in so many ways as a county commissioner, mayor, and also as a current member of the USA Board of Trustees. Mayor Jones.
To those of you who've traveled to our city, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to Mobile. I hope it looks different than when you were here at University of South Alabama. it looks different because of the University of South Alabama. This university has been a tremendous asset of this city, of this community, of this region, of this state, of this nation. It is really one of the foundations of our growth. It is very good for me to go out and sell Mobile and talk about one of the best medical systems in the country and talk about the technology and research park that spin off so many high-tech industries in our community and the level of our educated workforce. And then I even talk about the great band and football team and talk about all of those things that a great community should have. This university has provided that for Mobile and the Mobile area. I've had the great fortune of serving on the Board of Trustees for a number of years now. I also have worked with Gordon and Jerry Moulton since 1998. So I know a little bit about what has happened during that time. And as I walk this campus now, from the first day I stepped on the campus, it is amazing what has taken place in that period of time. Not just with the physical structures, but also with what this community delivers to this community as a whole. This university is really one of our foundations of growth in the Mobile area. I am so appreciative of all the efforts of Gordon and Jerry Moulton. You know, in my church, there's a song we sing, "Let the work I do speak for me." You just need to walk around and you will introduce yourself to Gordon and Jerry Moulton. Thank you so much for all you've done, Gordon and Jerry. Thank this entire assembly and thank the USA faculty, staff, supporters, donors. All of you have made us a great city.
Thank you, Mayor. I now present Mobile County Commissioner Connie Hudson. Connie has been a strong supporter of USA, first on Mobile City Council and now on the Commission. Commissioner Hudson.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Mobile County Commission and my colleagues, Commissioners Merceria Ludgood and Jerry Carl, I'm honored to be a part of this evening's anniversary celebration and retirement tribute to President Gordon Moulton. I'm very pleased and proud to extend our deepest congratulations to President Moulton, to Dr. Smith, to the University of South Alabama administration, faculty, staff, students, and alumni who are so well represented here tonight, on reaching the golden anniversary 50-year milestone. The University of South Alabama has experienced phenomenal growth and development over the last 50 years, not only in capital improvement, which is so obvious as you look around the campus, of course, but in every facet of education, research and development, health services, and student life. Founded in 1963 and opening in 1964 with an enrollment of 276 students, to today with 15,000 students and over 70,000 degrees conferred in the last 50 years. The University of South Alabama, I think, certainly, and I know you would agree, has certainly achieved its vision of becoming a preeminent comprehensive university that is recognized for its intellectual, cultural, and economic impact on the health and well-being of those the university serves in the global community. It's impossible to describe the growth and progress of Mobile County and our region without describing the county's relationship to the University of South Alabama. This university has profoundly enriched the intellectual and cultural life of our community. At the same time, it's enhanced significantly the availability of state-of-the-art health care through a superb medical college and cutting-edge medical research. The University of South Alabama also has been and continues to be a leading contributor to our county's economic development and overall regional growth. This university is responsible for an estimated total annual economic impact of well over $1 billion in Mobile County alone, and nearly $2 billion annually statewide. Needless to say, the University of South Alabama is a very valued partner of Mobile city and county governments. The phenomenal growth and development that you've heard described here today by all the speakers, it doesn't happen by accident. And it's due to great and visionary leadership, and there's no one more visionary and proactive in providing leadership than President Gordon Moulton. As Warren Bennis, who is widely regarded as the pioneer of the contemporary field of leadership, once said, "Leadership is the ability to translate vision into reality." Gordon Moulton has been a transformative force, translating a vision of success and positive results not only on the campus here at USA, but throughout our community and state. President Moulton, thank you for your 46 years of service and dedication to USA, and for the last 15 years as your service as president. Your legacy of academic excellence has set the bar very high and laid the groundwork for a bright future for the next 50 years and beyond. We treasure you and Jerry. We owe you both such a great debt of gratitude. And we ask that God continues to bless you and to bless the University of South Alabama. Again, congratulations.
Thank you, Connie. Let us now welcome Alabama House of Representatives Speaker Pro Tem Victor Gaston. Representative Gaston earned his master's degree from USA in 1970 and has been a longtime supporter of the university for more than 3 decades as a state legislator. Dr. Gaston.
Senator Figures, almost everything that could be said has been said, so I'm going to yield some of my time to you. What a wonderful moment in time for me and for each of you to have this personal connection to this university and to the genius of Jerry and Gordon Moulton. Gene and I would have a particular connection, riding in the entrance of Children's and Women's Hospital and seeing the artwork as we visited a little grandson there a couple of years ago, and the attention that we were given and that he was given and his parents were given. I think that is the kind of thing that this community has benefited from so very, very much. And to the genius of Gordon, who's done so many things, having Happy Fulford work with the delegation, the connection to the wonderful Mitchell family and others who support this university. And the list goes on and on and on. The current delegation has tried to build on what prior delegations have done in supporting this university. And I'm happy to say to you, Gordon has given us a good grade. And with that in mind, I'd like for my colleagues in the House to stand who are here tonight. I see Jamie Eisen. I see Chad Fincher. I see Jim Barton, Joe Faust, David Sessions, and John Merrill. Thank you for coming down from Tuscaloosa for this important event. Thank you for being here to share in this wonderful, wonderful evening. And as we continue to support this university, we'll always think of Gordon and Jerry Moulton. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gaston. I'm now pleased to welcome State Senate Minority Leader Vivian Davis Figures. Senator Figures has been a strong supporter of USA for many years, first on the Mobile City Council and now in the Alabama Senate. Senator Figures.
Good evening. I expect a response. Good evening. This is such a joyous occasion, and what a good evening it is. You know, the University of South Alabama has had a tremendous impact on my constituents and me personally throughout its history. The availability of quality education in our hometown has made it possible for thousands of students to receive a college degree who might not otherwise have had an opportunity, especially with the university experience. During the summer before my senior year at the University of New Haven in Connecticut, I was a little homesick and I wanted to come home, but I still wanted to take some of my studies to further my degree. So I applied at the University of South Alabama, and I was able to come here for that summer. So I guess that would make me an alumnus, hopefully. I'm definitely feeling a part of the family. I took the courses here, and I enjoyed them immensely. The university's healthcare system is vital to the health and well-being of all of us here in Southwest Alabama. Many of the families in my district are among those considered an underserved constituency when it comes to health care. Many of them rely on the university for quality treatment and care. All of us know the importance of a level 1 trauma center to a community, and we are fortunate to have one at the University of South Alabama Medical Center. I can personally speak to that because it was the USA Medical Center that my late husband, Senator Michael Figures, was transported to when he had his massive stroke in 1996. It was also the University of South Alabama Medical Center that I was south flighted to when I had a near fatal automobile accident just a year and a month later. So we have all experienced it, whether it was with us or our friends or loved ones. So we are very, very fortunate to have it in our community. Not many communities our size are blessed in such a way. We're also fortunate to have a burn center and neonatal intensive care unit as well. We're also here today not only to celebrate the 50 years that University of South Alabama has been with us, but we're also here to celebrate the accomplishments of Gordon and Jerry Moulton, of whom I am very proud to call my personal friends. Very few couples have made such an impact on a community as this couple has. Gordon's leadership of USA over a 46-year period, and most recently in the last 15 years as president, is a key reason why the university is prominent in its research and teaching. And that institution of research and teaching is such a great one. Jerry's support of many efforts at USA, the Mitchell Cancer Center, and the Children and Women's Hospital is just part of her civic contributions. They have been involved as leaders in this community for more than 40 years and dedicated many of their personal hours and their personal money to support causes that have made our community a better place to live. I join with all of you tonight to congratulate President Moulton on his retirement after 46 years and to wish he and Jerry all of the best and God's richest blessings in the future. I would have to say that I have one favor to ask of the President, and I know that Jerry would approve. If in the future, as you are celebrating your glorious retirement, and you come to a social event where I am there, and there's a band playing, and there's dancing, please, Gordon, save a dance for me, because you are one of the best dance partners I've ever had the opportunity with whom to dance. Many of you may not know that. Before I take my seat, I too would like to introduce any of my Senate colleagues who are here. I see Senator Bill Hightower, who has just joined us recently. Would you please stand? Is Senator Rusty Glover here? And Senator Mark Cahey? We are all working together in Montgomery, and we count it a joy to fight for the University of South Alabama and bring home as much money as we possibly can for you. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Senator. I now welcome your U.S. Congressman, Joe Bonner. Joe has been a tireless supporter of USA since being elected to Congress in 2002, and before that helped the university as a senior staff member for Congressman Sonny Callahan. Congressman Bonner.
Tonight is our opportunity to reflect, to celebrate, to give thanks, and to renew our commitment to each other and to this, our University of South Alabama. And yet to capture the essence of either South's 50th anniversary celebration or Gordon's and Jerry's heartfelt farewell to this university that they love so much and that loves them back 100-fold is a tall order in the best of circumstances. Try doing it in just under 2 minutes, and you understand that it is, if not difficult, it's almost impossible. But make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, the University of South Alabama's remarkable journey over the past 5 decades truly parallels the lives of so many people, the faculty and staff, the alumni and students, and for sure, certainly few, if any, more so than President Gordon Moulton and his best friend and lifelong partner, the one and only Jerry. Tonight truly is worthy of a celebration, but even as this chapter of USA's rich history is being recorded, let there be no mistakes. For in the shadows that are cast on this campus, they come not just from the trees that have been planted over the past 50 years or the buildings that have been built over the past 50 years or the ones that are currently being planted or currently being built. No, they come from a larger-than-life presence, a legacy, if you will, of a man and his wife who truly embody what the University of South Alabama has been, is, and will be in the future. For sure, this is more than a place with stately buildings and modern classrooms. Many college campuses, in fact, most have those. Instead, this university represents a covenant with our state and with our region to enhance the quality of life for all of our people, to open new doors of opportunities and wonder, and to provide a healing hand while developing strong minds. Go Jags, and may God continue to bless the mission of the University of South Alabama and 2 very special people who made it so. Gordon and Jerry, we love you.
Thank you, Joe. We will now hear from U.S. Senator Jeff Sessions. Senator Sessions has always been ready to assist and support USA throughout his 17 years in Congress. Senator Sessions.
Thank you so much, and it's just fabulous to see this great crowd, and it is indeed right, just, proper that from time to time we pause and celebrate great things, and 50 years is a pretty good time to celebrate, I think. This university, I think, is too often underappreciated when you consider its impact on the economy, on the medical care in this area. You consider its academic influence and cultural influence that it produces. We know that it is an institution unlike anything else that impacts our whole region. There's just no doubt about that. As I think about how it impacts this area, you consider the number of students and faculty that are here. They come from all over Alabama. People come up to me and talk about that frequently, how their children are at the University of South Alabama. They bring money here. They spend it in Mobile, and it's really good for the entire area. In 2 minutes, I would like to say a couple of things. First, this university has had remarkable leadership over 50 years, just 2 presidents. I knew Dr. Whidden, and he was an incredibly brilliant and able and wonderful leader. I got to know Gordon Moulton very well as time went by. And I've seen his vision, his will, his drive, his determination, and as he has led this university with unity, togetherness, and progress. When Mary and I came to Mobile in 1975, we lived right across the street in University Park in a little house over there. And we would spend a lot of time, I did, coming over here. I spent more time at ball games, baseball and basketball than I have at any other place I've ever been. I'm a University of South Alabama adoptee. So I believe in this place. And so we've seen it grow. To see the new Stanky field, I was there at the old one. To see the Mitchell Center that we're in today. The Shelby building my colleague worked so hard for and Joe Bonner worked so hard for. And to be able today to tour the Mitchell Cancer Institute with Abe Mitchell, who gave me the best tour. Abe, where is he? I don't know. He was so fabulous. Oh, he's up here, right? He knew all the doctors, all the researchers, and it was out making sure we stayed on track all the way through to make sure I saw everything he wanted me to say. And Abe, your enthusiasm is great. And Arlene, it was so good to see the statue there, or the artwork that you put in honor of Mayor. That was a special call for us to remember his great contribution, Mayor Mitchell's contribution to the university. So again, let me say how much I am honored to be here. I would mention also the Children and Women's Hospital that I visited today, on track to be doubled in size, $75 million, and what a blessing it will be to families throughout this region. I have, for some reason, had an observation of higher education and presidents and their leadership style around the state. And I got to tell you, Gordon Moulton is one of the greatest presidents this state has had in years and years, over decades. The leadership he's provided here is truly exceptional, and Jerry, we appreciate your constant support and contribution to it. Gordon, thank you for what you've done. Thank all of you that have participated in making this university the great impact, helping it have the great impact it does in this entire region of the state. We're excited about the future. I look forward to working with you as time goes by. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Senator. It is now my extreme pleasure to present someone who truly needs no introduction. Speaking on behalf of the people of Alabama is our governor, Dr. Robert Bentley. Governor.
Well, good evening. It is an honor to be here tonight to celebrate the 50th anniversary of a collegiate institution that we all love, the University of South Alabama. Over the last 50 years, USA has made a significant impact on the educational accomplishments, the health care, the economic strength, and the overall quality of life for this region and for our entire state. The numbers tell the story. USA has awarded more than 75,000 degrees, with the alumni becoming leaders in all professions across our country. One of my cabinet members, Revenue Commissioner Julie McGee, I saw her stand up just a few minutes ago down there. She's one of our alumni here. Many more alumni work with us in state government in Montgomery. USA alumni represent this institution well all across our country, and we can all be proud of them. The 15,000 students that are enrolled here today will form a network with a strong presence all across our state and across this United States of ours. When people think of USA, for many, the first thing that comes to their mind is the quality and the sophistication of its academic healthcare system. As a physician, I know the important role USA plays in keeping people healthy and helping them to live longer lives. As the only Level 1 trauma facility in the region, the USA Medical Center is ready and equipped to treat the most serious trauma cases, as already been mentioned here tonight. USA has the only neonatal intensive care unit in this area. It's located at the Children's and Women's Hospital, and that certainly is a comfort to many mothers and fathers of newborns. USA has a major economic impact in this region, supporting more than 5,600 employees and thousands more across the region due to the university and the industry that it helps attract. And on top of all of that, USA has many great athletic teams. Diane and I were able to come down and see one of the first football games that you had here at the stadium, and we enjoyed that. We look forward to coming to some more. USA also has benefited from tremendous leadership over the years. Gordon and Jerry Moulton have served most of the past 50 years, and their contributions have been vital to the success of this university. Gordon Moulton came to Mobile to teach in the College of Business at this young and largely unknown university. When the Moultons arrived on campus, there was a handful of buildings and only a handful of students. Gordon has served in almost every level of leadership at USA, from instructor to president, and has grown this university in one of the most respected research universities in Alabama and across this country. Under the leadership of President Moulton, the university has achieved significant milestones in areas like student enrollment and graduation and research funding and health care delivery. Gordon and Jerry, the success of this university is because of your vision and your leadership. You've had a tremendous vision for the university, and you saw what the university could become. And because of your leadership, USA has grown and touched countless lives across this region and across the world. Tonight's celebration would not have been possible without your service to the university. This week I signed a commendation, and I'll give this to you later, commending you for your leadership and for the 50 years of South Alabama's leadership. Tonight, we've heard many different accounts of how the University of South Alabama continues to make a positive difference in the lives of many people. It has been a great evening to be among all of these friends here tonight, but especially we are here to honor the leadership of Gordon and Jerry Moulton. God bless you in your retirement, and thank you for the service that you have given not only to this university, but to this great state of Alabama.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this truly historic occasion. And a special thank to our governor, Dr. Robert Bentley. And thank you, too, Governor Bentley, for the generous remark, but I can assure all of you this has not been a solo journey. Literally, thousands have made this day possible. The community has embraced us, believed in our mission. Our campus family, local government, and state officials, our impressive student body, dedicated faculty and staff, the phenomenal contribution of our hospital employees, children and women's, the USA Medical Center, and the Mitchell Cancer Institute, our diligent board of trustees, and our distinguished alumni. You know, I wish that time allowed me to thank each of you individually. Please know that I am sincerely grateful to be a part of this ambitious pursuit to build a world-class university in a blink of an eye time frame. And don't you agree? We can say without hesitation, mission accomplished. It was June 1st, 1966, and I had graduated from Emory University less than a week earlier. Emory also happens to be Dr. Wooden's alma mater, and maybe that accounts for my being hired. That same young Frederick Palmer Wooden, who gave me the opportunity to work here, had the tenacity and confidence to see the university through its very difficult years. At this time, I would like for the Wooden family to stand and be recognized. As I was saying, Dr. Wooden has offered this 26-year-old here a position as a teacher in the College of Business at an annual salary of $9,500. My ego was unbelievably elevated. It's a long time ago. Never having been to Mobile, Alabama, Jerry and I were cautiously excited. We packed our nicest clothes, an eye chest filled with food for the road, climbed into our royal blue, not air-conditioned, Volkswagen Beetle, and left Atlanta, Georgia, headed for Spanish Fort, all in a single day. We overnighted in a small motel at the top of the hill and eagerly continued our trip for the following morning. Stopping for fuel on the causeway, I asked the attendant for directions to the University of South Alabama. He'd never heard of it. Had no idea. This was a little unnerving, quite frankly, to my already skeptical young wife. We drove and finally found it by sheer luck. And there it was, an entire university in a total of 2 buildings. Dr. Wooden and the group he hired were convinced, however, from the very beginning that USA would be a success. Faculty and staff were multitaskers. We did whatever it took to get the job done. 46 years later, we're still doing whatever it takes. I've hired bright, caring, hard-working people. We have faced some tough times, but thanks to all of you and your support, we turn problems into opportunities, and we continue to do our best for our students and this university and our community. While USA was founded in 1963, classes did not begin until the first building opened in 1964. I came in June of 1966. I attended the graduation of the first class in '67 and attended every commencement since then until my medical interruption in October. I've been very fortunate to share this journey with my wife. She has given countless creative hours to this university. She's smart, she's resourceful, and she can take credit for getting me to work on the time for the nearly 47 years. Jerry.
Gordon and I actually have family here tonight, which we typically do not have. I'd like to recognize my sister, Betty Lindsay. Would you please stand? Pam Robinson, her daughter, Sam Robinson, Luke Lindsay, and Gordon's sister Ann, his brother Charles, and his wife Rita. We're delighted to have you here. They don't get to the campus very often. Wow, look at you. I can't believe it. You're retiring after only 46 years. What a relief. You had all of us worried for a while. We thought you were going to be a lifer. And after that avalanche of accolades, you may be a challenge to live with. But not to fear. I have plans for you. Your job description is about to dramatically change. You have not been aware of this, but garbage goes to the street. It happens every Friday morning before 7 o'clock. You may meet other unemployed husbands completing the same chore. And I would like for you to spend some time locating the mates to your socks that have disappeared in the washing machine over the last 20 years. And perhaps you and I can visit Florida, God's waiting room, and you can wear your pants up really high. Maybe we'll dress alike. And you can complain about the government full time. He doesn't like this. And I'm sure you won't mind holding my purse for me when we go shopping, since we've never shopped together. And clipping coupons. 2-for-1 lunches at Ruby Tuesday should keep you busy for a while. And last, unless you want us to end up like Willie Nelson, you could take a few days to clean up my poor record keeping you constantly complain about. Oh, there may be some salvation for you. There's a rumor that Dr. Carl Moore has a teaching position open in the Mitchell College of Business. He's willing to hire you only if you agree to report to super fundraiser Abraham Mitchell once a month. Now that could be stressful. You may be seated. I must admit, in 1966, I became a reluctant resident of Mobile, Alabama. But I began to busy myself chasing a career in the airline industry. I sold real estate. I bought every dilapidated building I could finance. I fell in love with historic preservation. I became a pink lady at the USA Medical Center. I built a thriving decorating business, got involved in the arts, and I was allowed to do a lot of creative meddling, as my husband has said, on this 1,200-acre campus. This quickly became home. In his typical, methodical, focused approach, Gordon Moulton did everything he was asked to do at USA and more. And soon, like many of you in this room, he became a key player in the growth of this infant institution. Days turned into decades, and the time came when you graciously allowed him to become the university's second president. The week before he was named president, I was so proud for him. I bought for him a very nice gift. It was a briefcase of luxurious leather, soft and black, with little suede pockets, brass latches, and a combination lock, important looking. Just the perfect announcement for this newly named fancy president. Reluctantly, he posed for a picture, holding this befitting gift under one arm and our miniature schnauzer, Emmett, under the other. But unfortunately, there are chapters in our lives we are not allowed to write. Illness is one of those chapters. Gordon was named president in late July 1998. In less than 60 days, he was in the operating room at Knollwood Hospital. Surgery lasted for nearly an entire day. Many of you were there. Cancer, like many other diseases, gives us a chance to realize how quickly our lives can be fractured. This terrible disease was defeated, and he returned to work within days. I was so scared. He never flinched. The little briefcase sat waiting for him in a corner of the room. Almost 15 years have passed, and he and that fancy little briefcase have made thousands of trips to this campus. Both have bumps and bruises, faced difficulty and triumph, and both briefcase and its owner will forever continue to call this place home. Some of us pluck the flower, some of us pull the weed, but this can never happen until someone plants the seed. Congratulations to my husband and to all of you who've made this day a reality, and happy birthday, USA.
Thank you, Jerry. We have to discuss a little of that here and there. It sounds as though working for Carl Moore and Abe Mitchell, as tough as that could be, may be my best option. No one has been more invested in the success of the University of South Alabama than Mobile's own Mitchell family. This family has given more money to this single university than has been given to the other university in this state. They're giving support every mission of the university, teaching, research, service, and health care. These, to name a few, the Mitchell Cancer Institute, the Mitchell College of Business, this beautiful business building here, the Mitchell Center, USA Children and Women's Hospital, and a mountain of gifts for student scholarships and athletics. Not only do they give their money, they give valuable time. Arlene Mitchell follows her husband's path of service, replacing him on our Board of Trustees. She sits in the same chair he occupied. Mayor Mitchell was definitely a giant on whose shoulders I stood for many, many years. At this time, I would like to ask Abraham Mitchell, Arlene Mitchell, and the entire Mitchell family to stand and be recognized. Abe, would you join me here, please? You see, there are few advantages in the world of being a president, and though this may be my last major appearance, I can tell you it's well worth it, and it's never been a better opportunity. And I want to tell you briefly the story of Abe Mitchell. As a little boy, he lived with his parents and 3 siblings, 2 sisters, and brother Mayor on Monterey Street here in Mobile. He attended Leinkauf School and Riverside Military Academy in Gainesville, Georgia, where he graduated at the top of his class. No surprise there. And he graduated from Penn State and the Wharton College of Business. He also has a law degree from the University of Alabama, and his credentials include a short stint as Mobile's district attorney. Abe's only child's son, lives in Israel. Abraham Mitchell did not arrive on this planet a wealthy man. He was trying to decide if he wanted to practice law when his persuasive brother, Mayor, asked him to be his partner in business. And the rest, quite frankly, is history. A lot of you here know a lot about it. The 2 of them went on to build one of the South's most successful companies. But just as importantly, they built a good reputation. Abe worked hard, and he invested wisely. Fortunately for the University of South Alabama, this amazing individual has chosen to share that wealth with us. A gift of this magnitude will transform this institution and give opportunities to deserving students we've never dreamed possible. Tonight, he is going to donate. Tonight, Abe is going to donate to the university the largest gift an individual has ever made to a public university in the state of Alabama. Half of this gift, $25 million, will endow Thank you. Thank you. Half of this gift, $25 million, will endow a new scholarship program for students in all fields of study. The second $25 million will support the Mitchell College of Business. $50 years, $1 million for every year USA has existed, $50 million. Mr. Mitchell's gift is $50 million. Just had to say that one more time. This gift, combined with the $43 million This is a previous gift to date by the Mitchell family and Abe combined. Brings the Mitchell family's total giving to the University of South Alabama to $93 million. It gives me great pleasure to present to you my friend and a truly special friend of this university, Mr. Abraham Mitchell.
Thank you for your patience. My talk, I've timed, it's 6 minutes, so we'll be out timely. Thank you, President Moulton, and those gathered here. Tonight, I have listened to the grateful voices of the people who have been touched by the University of South Alabama over the past 5 decades. I am reminded of something that I have always believed. Nothing enhances the quality of a person's life more than higher education. I grew up in Mobile, and I too remember what this region was like before there was a university. The University of South Alabama is a shining example of how a community and a region can be transformed in so many positive aspects when people receive an opportunity to benefit from a higher education. We have heard the many ways this university changes lives each day through teaching, research, healthcare, and the economic enhancement of our region. My late brother, Mayor, my sister-in-law, Arlene, and I have been very fortunate to be able to support the University of South Alabama. I would like to recognize my sister-in-law again. Arlene, would you please stand for a moment? President Moulton, I thank you for your tireless and immeasurable contributions to the University of South Alabama and to our state. You have continued to serve the people of Alabama long after many others might have retired to a life of leisure. You are a master at inspiring people to embrace your vision of value and the transformational power of higher education. In fact, I want all of you to know that if it were not for President Moulton, I would not be standing in front of you tonight making this gift. Recently, President Moulton reminded me that USA was founded 50 years ago because of a need to make a university education available locally. Back then, our region had many people who were worthy of a higher education but could not afford to move away from home, leave their families, and quit their jobs. Similarly, before USA was created, the Mobile region lost some of its brightest and best young people who would go away to college, never to return to Mobile. I am pleased to say the University of South Alabama has reversed this trend, and the university graduates today represent the lion's share of our local professional workforce. For example, 1/3 of our physicians in Mobile and in Baldwin County have received part or all of their educational training at USA. Over 85% of the teachers in this area have received some portion or all of their teaching credentials at South. President Moulton expressed to me with pride that USA is among the greatest educational values in the state due to its comparatively low cost and high quality programs. Yet, given these facts, President Moulton has voiced his concern to me that USA students have not been immune to tuition increases necessitated by the reduction in government funding for higher education due to the recession. This trend has forced all universities in the state to increase tuition. The University of South Alabama has one of the most generous academic scholarship programs in the state. However, given the rising cost of attending college and the pressure this puts on students and their families, President Moulton told me it was his fondest wish as he completed his career that even further efforts should be made to create additional academic scholarships. The new scholarship program is about ensuring that a higher quality higher education remains within the financial reach of all of our citizens. The emphasis is not only on the highest academic achievers, who may have many opportunities here and elsewhere, but also on those solid, middle achieving students who traditionally might not receive academic scholarships. We hope that as many as 2,000 additional students at the University of South Alabama can receive scholarships when this program reaches its full maturity. I am pleased to announce that this program will be endowed and the scholarships will be awarded annually. There are a couple of additional thoughts I would like to share with you about this scholarship program. First, and most importantly, I want to emphasize the need for the private sector to participate in order to maintain our cutting edge. This is a challenge gift, which means if you make a contribution at a certain level to create a scholarship for a deserving student, we will match your gift dollar for dollar and create this scholarship in your name. If you are one of the many who have benefited from the University of South Alabama's education, this would be a meaningful and permanent way to give back. Secondly, we want this program to begin touching lives immediately. If you know of a student who can benefit from this scholarship program, please have them contact the admissions office at USA immediately. Information will also be posted on appropriate websites at the university and provided to high school counselors. At this time, I would like for President Moulton and Jerry to join me. President Moulton, I've told you how much we appreciate your service and your devotion these many years. We are grateful for the lives you have touched through your leadership and vision for higher education. I personally appreciate that you have demonstrated to me the value of investing in such a worthy endeavor as the University of South Alabama. It is for these reasons I am pleased to announce that from this day forward, the new scholarship program will be forever called the Mitchell-Moulton Scholarship Initiative. In closing, I would like to share some inspirational thoughts from a book of my faith, the Talmud. President Moulton uses this at every USA graduation, and I want to share it with you tonight. Live each day to the fullest. Get the most from each hour, each day, and at each age of your life. Then you can look forward with confidence and back without regrets. Be yourself. Be your best self. Don't be afraid to be happy. Enjoy what you have done for your friends and remember what they have done for you. Disregard what the world owes you and concentrate on what you owe the world. When you are faced with a decision to make that decision as wisely as possible. Then forget it. The moment of absolute certainty never comes. Blessed is the generation in which the old listen to the young. And doubly blessed is the generation in which the young listen to the old. I am delighted to be part of the University of South Alabama family. When I consider my investment in USA and the people it serves, I remain certain that I have received far more than I have given. Thank you.
Mr. Mitchell, President Moulton, and Jerry, on behalf of the entire University of South Alabama family, we offer our deepest appreciation for your service and love of this university. May we have another round of applause for Mr. Mitchell and for President Moulton and Jerry. I think all I can say now is, wow, what an evening. At this time, we cordially invite all of you to join us for dinner. We will serve dinner in Jaguar Gym. Just go to the Mitchell Center Concourse and follow the signs. Tables will be set up in the Jag Gym, Strickland Auditorium area, and on the concourse. During dinner, you will notice that USA's complimentary 50th anniversary book will be available at your table and at several distribution points, including all exits as you leave tonight. If you've not seen the book already, you do not want to miss this. It's a phenomenal book. Also, throughout the evening, our official 50th anniversary video will be playing on the screen behind me. It will begin every 15 minutes, with the last showing starting at 9:15. Please take time to see it. It runs about 10 minutes, and it will give you an even greater sense of pride in your university. If you would like, you can bring your dinner and into the arena to watch the video. Finally, we will have our fireworks show beginning at 9 p.m. if it isn't raining at that time, and let's hope it's not. Please join us out at the Moulton Tower for the fireworks. You will want to stay on the concrete because the ground is still very wet. At this time, we will close with the singing of our alma mater, which is found in your printed program. Again, thank you for coming and being a part of this historic event. Please stand and join us in singing our alma mater.
All hail, great university, our alma mater dear, South Alabama, red and blue, proud colors we revere, nestled midst the hills of pine, enduring throughout time. Upward, onward, may your fame continue in its climb. So with thy blessing blessings now send us. Pray that highest be our aim. South Alabama, may we ever lift and glory